Hey, sports fans, welcome on in. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. So glad you could join our show. Oh, we got a good one today. It's the Herman Moore Hour of Power. Hanging with Herman. We're going to do that today. Always fun. Got some great questions. Going to get some great insight from him. I have fixed college football. I fixed it with a little help of my friends. We'll talk about that and so much more. Very interesting things going on in the NFL as well. And then by popular demand, we're going to bring back a segment we did yesterday again today called "Sucks to Be You." So we'll get into all the great people who have made our list of "It Sucks to Be You." But we're going to start with I think the most compelling thing in the entire world right now, and that is I have actually fixed college football. Now I do want to make a disclaimer. I did not do this by myself. It's a little bit like Henry Ford when he didn't invent the automobile. I know people think that the old Model T was from Henry Ford. He just learned how, and with the help of other people who invented it, right? He just said, I'll figure out how to make it better. I'll figure out how to mass produce it. I'll figure out how to get us into an industrial age in the United States of America. And that was the great contribution of Henry Ford. He did not invent it. He just figured out how to do it better. So I don't lay claim to credit for a lot of these things. I'm just going to take some ideas that people have suggested in certain compartments, right? They all kind of have a little part here, and I'm going to organize them, and I'm going to mechanize them, and I'm going to create an industrial revolution in college football. So, for example, the first part of this I'm going to take from Dan Lanning, because so Dan Lanning had the most simple, most obvious kind of like, yeah, this totally makes sense. Let's just move our calendar up. So to start with, the whole offseason for college football is actually going to start earlier than it'll start basically the first week of December. And I'll get into why that's so significant, but a great idea. Now, there's a whole bunch of bowl games, and I didn't invent bowl games. We love bowl games. They seem to have taken on a whole lot less meaning now than they have in the past. And I want to reinvigorate, revitalize, and make almost all of the bowl games that are out there significant and meaningful and something that you really want to tune into. And I believe this whole process and plan actually will massively help college football. It will be a massive generator, revenue generator for all schools, the sport in general. And then the third thing I want to take from this is from Josh Pate. So Josh Pate's College Football, who does an excellent job. And he came up with what I believe is the absolute perfect realignment suggestion. And he did a phenomenal job with that. So let's just, I'm going to show you how I've taken all of these little parts from people, put them together, and essentially fixed college football. Now, the NIL stuff and all that's a different story. That's a different conversation. They're actually going to have their commission this Friday, maybe, with what's going on in the world, and they've got a group of people together that is extremely successful and a kind of a who's who of who in the world of sports. And I like it. I like that they're trying to figure this out. But this could be a certain and significant step in helping, at least from the back end of this. Okay, so Josh Pate came up with this idea of having 7 conferences of power football. So it's going to be the Power 7 now, but the conferences are only going to have 10 teams. So you're going to have 7 10-team conferences, and 10 is significant. And I like this because it forces every conference to play every team in your conference every year, right? So you have yourself that you don't play yourself, and so you play 9 conference games. Every conference has 9 conference opponents. You play those teams in those conferences, and it works. And so he came up with a regional breakdown of all of the conferences, which I think is brilliant, right? And is what really makes it most compelling. If you look at most leagues like the NFL, or there's a Western, Eastern, there's a basic, for the most part, geographic alignment of all of these teams. And so the 7 conferences are the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big East comes back, The Big Eight, which essentially is the Big 12 now, but the Big Eight comes back. The Southwest Conference, holy cow, comes back, and of course the Pac-10, which was a great conference, and it comes back. And then there's three independent schools, and those three independent schools are Vanderbilt, Northwestern, who's no longer in the Big Ten, and of course Notre Dame. All right, so it's essentially 73 teams, and that's really what college football is. I mean, it's not anything more than that. But you look at he did a phenomenal job, and I certainly am not going to take credit for it, but I am going to say I give my blessing, and I just wanted to acknowledge what I thought was a brilliant move. It puts Oklahoma in the Big Eight. It takes Texas and Oklahoma out because Texas is now going to be in the Southwest Conference. You have some schools that leave, like Northwestern is out of the Big Ten, and they're an independent. Vanderbilt is out of the SEC; it's an independent now. You're going to have Texas A&M is in the Southwest Conference. It just totally makes a lot of sense. Utah, BYU are in the Big Eight now. Nebraska's in the Big Eight. Oklahoma State. It really fits from most of the rivalries. Now, Texas, Oklahoma, they don't play each other in the regular conference, but that leads to the next part of this. So all the teams have to play each other. They have to have 3 non-conference games, and my suggestion is that those non-conference games are tiered, and teams like Oklahoma and Texas have to play each other in their non-conference schedule. There'd still be a bye week. There would only be one bye week in the regular season. Maybe you have 2 because these teams are playing, but however you do it, you make sure that the season ends that last week, that kind of Thanksgiving week of November, because then that's when the playoffs start. So you have your 3 non-conference teams are some directional school, some mid-major, and then you have to have a power set. I'm gonna call it Power 7 now. So you scheduled those games. So, like, for example, BYU plays Notre Dame this year, and Utah plays Miami in a few years, and so you continue with that. Now, here's the beautiful thing. So now we get into the playoffs. So your regular season, it is what it is. You have to play all the teams in your conference, and there's no poll. Okay, polls are gone away with. They're done. So you're going to make the playoffs based on your conference standing every year. There's going to be a 32-team playoff, and 4 teams from each conference make the playoffs. So the SEC is going to get its top 4 teams. The Big Ten is going to get its top. Every conference is going to get its top teams. Now, there's going to be a ranking as far as like how each one of those. There will be a ranking for the playoffs based on how you finish every year, and then there's going to be 4. There's going to be 4 at large. So there are teams that can make it, and they can come from any of the conferences, any of the 7 conferences, and the independents. But it's a criteria, like you have to have a winning record, you have to have certain whatever. But it's not going to be just some, well, we just really like Alabama because Alabama is Alabama, and they may stink this year, but we're just going to put them in for whatever. So this subjective nature of selection is, for the most part, eliminated. And again, that criteria can be ironed out, figured out, whatever. But there are 4 at-large teams, and quite frankly, at that point, I don't care. If you want to just throw a team in there, if the Big Ten and the SEC just want to have 5 teams, whatever, I don't care at that point. I really don't. Okay, so it's a 32-team playoff. Now, you might say, well, gosh, that's a lot of teams. And you're right. It is a lot of teams. But it's fairly close to what the bowl schedule is, the teams that actually make bowl games anyways. There are 36 bowl games, at least by my research. And so you only need 32 bowl games, right? You eliminate conference championships. There's no conference. It's just regular season who won the conference, and you do all your tiebreakers, and you can do them by however you want in your conference because they're convoluted as all get out. But every team plays everyone, so you should have a fairly easy way of establishing tiebreakers inside your conference. So there's a 30, as I said, 32 team playoff, and each round will utilize a certain number of bowl games. So you take 32 of the existing 38 bowl games. So we're not inventing a bowl game. We're not creating more bowl games. We're taking existing bowl games, as I was saying earlier, and we're utilizing them in a much more interesting fashion. Now, the bowl games may change their time, like when they actually happen, but that's okay because not all the bowl games are going to, they'll happen throughout that December time frame, but it also gives everyone a chance to get everything ready for the NIL and for recruiting and to do all of this stuff because teams are preparing for bowl games anyways throughout that season. The season gets over pretty much for everyone, but maybe one or maybe two teams by the time you get to the new year, and I'll explain that in a minute. So most of the teams in college football, well, a majority, almost all of them, will be done before November or January 1st. So how it works is the first week of the playoffs, there are, again, no buys, so you don't get a buy for winning your conference. Everyone plays at the very beginning of the playoffs. Now you're going to play a 4 seed if you're a 1 seed, and so you're going to have I don't want to say a cupcake game, but you're going to have a game that's very winnable. So the first round will include 16 bowl games, and there'll be games like the Pop-Tarts Bowl, the Gator Bowl, Music City, Pinstripe, First Responder Bowl. And then the second round, of course, because you have 16 games, then because there's only 8 teams that win. So now you have 8 bowl games. And that the second round, of course, is like the Alamo Bowl, the Holiday, Liberty, Sun Bowl. Those games would be in the second round. Okay. And then you have a quarterfinal round, and that's going to be in the last around the last week of December. So kind of that Christmas time. And you're going to have, and it'll be a rotation. So the quarterfinals will be a rotation of the New Year's games. Now they won't be played on New Year's. They're going to be played at the end of December, but it's going to be close to New Year's and oh well, except for the Rose Bowl. Now the Rose Bowl, we all know, is the granddaddy of them all. And the Rose Bowl, so the quarterfinal game is only going to use 4 games. There's six New Year's games. So you need to have 6 in total. So for the quarterfinals, you use 4, and the semifinal, you use 2. So there's your 6 games, and that'll rotate kind of like what it does now, except for the Rose Bowl. And the Rose Bowl, and I've been to 2 Rose Bowls, and the Rose Bowl is special. It's different. I know you may get some argument, but there's nothing like the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl says we have to be, on New Year's Day. So, but it's been, close to New Year's, been on the 2nd before and blah, 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 but it'll be right at that time. So the semifinal round will include 2 bowl games. One will be the Rose Bowl, and then one will be, and then the national championship will actually be the following week. And there will be a bye week actually between the semifinals and the quarterfinals and the semifinals. And then you have the national championship, and that can be on the Monday following whatever it is right now. And it ends sometime very early in the beginning of the year. Okay. So what I like about this one, and well, let's just start with, people go, man, you're off your rocker. You're absolutely nuts. What are you thinking about? This is just such an upheaval. But that's kind of what college football is right now. It's in upheaval, and there really has to be some type of common sense. And this to me seems like the most common sense, where we're not taking we're just using what's already there. We're refining, we're making better the calendar and how that all fits. Conference championships are, a waste of time. And the way that these conferences are aligned like right now is utterly ridiculous. Okay. It's just so ridiculous. And it's ridiculous from the sense of you have a 16 team league, you have an 18 team league. You don't really get a real sense of who the good teams are. And it makes it even this subjective, let's have polls and let's decide, who should and who shouldn't get in there. A year ago, Indiana got in the playoffs and they kind of, bit the dust. And then this year they win a national championship. So you just don't know from year to year who those teams are. And like Miami was a team that got in and they got hot at the right time of the year and they played their way into a national championship. And I respect that and I appreciate that. And that's what I want to see. Bowl games have become so irrelevant today. This is an awesome way to massively improve the interest of bowl games. Imagine a whole college football playoff in December and how great that March Madness is that we're getting ready to start right now. It would be incredible, amazing. And I know that the concern is, well, now, you're adding all of these games to a season. And really what you're adding is only a few teams are going to go through all the way. So most teams go to a bowl game, and that's what most of these 32 teams are going to well, yeah. That's what's going to happen with these teams. So I think it's a great way to utilize the bowl games that are happening, and then you have the conferences, and I think this is really important for the conferences. They have if they really sat down and they really talked to the people who are involved in television, and because really people in television, they just want the most compelling games that they possibly can have. And if you have these conferences aligned like they are, you're going to have really good marketable teams in every conference. Every conference is going to be extremely competitive. I haven't gone into all of the teams that are in the conferences, but my goodness, he just nails it. Okay. I'm just telling you, Josh Pate, as far as, and he actually took a couple of suggestions from people. You don't eliminate anything in college football that's significant. Rivalry games. It's a beautiful thing. But when you get and you sit down and talk to television, because television is kind of driving what's happening in college football right now, and really what they want is they want compelling games. I mean, every week in college football they go, okay, there's a flex schedule. You don't even know when your team's playing right now until a couple of weeks before that team actually plays. And you look at this big noon and you look at College Game Day, and they go all around the country trying to find where's the great matchup, what's really happening. So TV is interested in compelling conference play and doing all this. So when you bring back the regionality of the teams, it generates so much more excitement. You're just not going to have an excitement where USC is going to go play in Champaign, Illinois, or they're going to go play Rutgers somewhere, or they're going to go. It just doesn't have the same panache to it as these regional conferences. So when you sit down with the TV partners, but you sit down and you negotiate as this is college football. This isn't this not tribal. Excuse me. It's not tribal. Everyone, every conference for himself, and we're all out here on our own. It's like, as a collective group of 7, we are going to negotiate an amazing deal for all teams involved. And I know some schools, and I'm sure if you did the math, because people have actually mentioned this, that if college football negotiated as a collective group with television, then they would have the ability to drive a much better deal for everyone. And on top of it, you have a much more robust playoff system that actually is going to generate massively more amounts of money and revenue for the sport. And I just really believe that it's the absolute very best solution for all of college football, and really answering to all of the the different buttons that everybody has. Now there's going to be some pushback somewhere, right? Because there always is, and someone's going to have some reason to complain about everything. But I think it's hard to complain with that this is for the greater good. I think it's hard to complain with, hey, we want our sports to be, um, decided on the court, on the field. We don't like the polls. We don't like the bowls, but we want to actually make you like bowl games now. I think it's interesting to still keep them wherever they are. I think it's very compelling for all involved. I think more people would be interested in watching, attending, and going to these different bowl games. I think of the Sun Bowl out in the middle of West Texas, in the middle of what it's kind of at the end of Texas, not in the middle, anyways. At the end of Texas, way out west, almost to Mexico. That game all of a sudden even becomes much more compelling. So I like the solution all around, and what it will really take is people to sit down and just go, yeah, this, if you can show a way for this to make sense, which I believe you can, there you have it. So I have fixed college football, I firmly believe, and thanks to my friends, which I don't know either Dan Lanning or Josh Pate, but great suggestions they had. So let's turn this whole thing into something amazing. All right, there you have it. This is the Down and Dirty. We'll come back. We've got some great news of notes right around the corner. So don't go away.
The Pete Souza Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. You want to talk NFL draft? I don't know. How about we get you Todd McShay? You want to talk Big 12? We can get you the commissioner. Somebody about the Cowboys? How about we have on the owner, Stephen Jones? Pop culture? Michelle Beadle. I mean, we will bring on the people that you want to hear from. And these people don't join us because of me. They join us because of you. You got to watch this show, okay? It's got everything you need. Sports, hijinks, laughs. Did I mention hijinks? We'll see you on the Pete Souza Show. Now, we are under the 365 Sports umbrella. Check it out. I'm wearing a Tulane shirt. No idea why.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports, Pete.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Sports don't stop, and neither do we. Welcome to 365 Sports, your home for real conversations, original shows, and coverage that lives where sports actually happen. Join David Smoke, Craig Smoke, and myself, Paul Catalina, for in-depth interviews and local stories to the moments national media misses. 365 Sports brings you the voices, debates, and perspectives fans care about every single day. Subscribe now on YouTube, search 365 Sports, and never miss a moment, because sports aren't seasonal. They're 365.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. This is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. We got down and dirty in that first segment. I really believe I've solved the problem with college football. I think it's a brilliant idea. The only reason it wouldn't be a brilliant idea is because someone has their own agenda, right? And that would be pretty much everyone in college football has their own agenda. And so you hope that maybe they kind of get pounded into humility, right? And that all the craziness that's going on actually turns everyone into we got to change things. And I think it's why the college football playoffs changed, just because a lot of teams go, well, hey, wait a minute, wait just a gosh darn minute, we're getting frozen out of this deal, and we have to change it. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. I believe NIL actually is going to move the needle with a lot of people, and I think the center of power in college football is going to have to change, and they're going to have to come to the table. And I think if everyone came to the table and worked together, it'd be better for everyone. And that's really what, including the fans, by the way. And I think it would also generate a massive amount of interest in some of maybe the wane or the lull with what's kind of happening with some of these fans, these sports fans, as it relates to college football. All right. We have the NFL news of notes, and it's pretty good stuff here today. And I love it. In fact, I love it a lot. I like it a lot. All right, here we go. Chicago Bears center Drew Dahlman has retired at 27. He signed a deal with the Bears last season. He played for the Falcons for 4 seasons before, but he actually retired. And this is, man, I don't want this to sound the wrong way. Usually when you retire at a young age, it's for health reasons. It's a concern for your future. It's all of these things. And I think it's a trend that you see a whole lot more common today than maybe in the past. And I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, because back in the day, players, man, they played through everything. They played a long time, and part of it was because of the money. Like, you just didn't have the type of money that is available to these players. And they go, look, even though it might not be hundreds of millions of dollars to them, it might be 10, it might be 8, it might be 12, it might be $15 million that they now have in their pocket, and they go, that's enough for me. You weigh the cost of a quality of life, and you go, yeah, I'm willing to walk away from millions of dollars, even though I have millions, and maybe it's not the absolute highest amount I possibly can. My health, my life, my family, far more important to me. And these are things I think you're seeing a trend in the NFL more so than in the past. It just feels that way to me. It just seems like a story like this comes up about every, I don't know, couple of months, and it just doesn't seem like it's the same thing that's happened in the past. I know guys that go, I'm not retiring, and it's like they should retire. They have one false move and they're paralyzed for life, and so goes it. Okay, we talked about Daniel Jones yesterday, and a very interesting kind of dynamic happening there with what kind of gamble or risk do you put on Daniel Jones? And so the Indianapolis Colts essentially transitioned Daniel Jones. So basically, it's just the tier in the money that he would receive, and it's a 1-year deal. Like it's like the franchise. It's the franchise tags ugly step cousin, the transition tag, right? It's just a tier below, and it comes with different levels of security, because if you franchise someone, they're yours. Boom, they are protected. But a transition, meaning they could go different directions, means that if someone doesn't offer you, which they can, and you get a long-term contract from someone that matches what the amount of money, which is $38 million, is what Daniel Jones would make next year as a transition player. But someone could match it, and that's a little scary. So, but what it says to me is the culture saying, we like you, but we don't love you. and we don't want to marry you. Because if we wanted to marry you, long-term deal. Now there's still the possibility of a long-term deal happening. And I think the Colts are just trying to go, man, we really feel like Daniel Jones was headed in the right direction for our organization. It felt like he might be a long-term solution to us. Boom, he gets injured. And so now he's injured. Now it's like, and you wonder, how much of a market there really is for a player like Daniel Jones, because teams are going to ask the same questions. Is he injured? But then if he isn't injured, is he still good a year from now? And then the question is, well, what is a good Daniel Jones? Is that even, because a lot of teams go, yeah, we didn't really think he was that great to begin with. And so it's kind of a hedge your bet type of move from the Indianapolis Colts. It's this, kind of it's just kind of I don't know. It's not a real exciting. It's not this endorsement of faith and trust and excitement and commitment. It's just kind of, they're in a situationship. I mean, that's really where the Colts are with Daniel Jones. I like you, but I like everyone else too, and we'll just kind of play this out. Now, the one thing it does do is it doesn't allow Daniel Jones to just go out in the free agent market and off you go kind of thing. So it's kind of, I don't know how I'd feel if a player. I mean, I think it's probably the best move. It's probably the safest move that the Colts could kind of make. It's just kind of a middle of the road type of thing. All right, Kyler Murray is expected to be cut and he's going to be cut by the Arizona Cardinals. And of course, that's a situation again where teams value quarterbacks so greatly. And if someone was just really in love with Kyler Murray, they go, man, we want this guy. Now they go, yeah, but they're going to cut him. It's clear that it's not good. So he's going to get cut. And maybe Kyler Murray wants to get cut, and he wants to get cut simply because then it absolutely puts him out on the open market. And maybe his representatives have been going around saying, hey, how interested are you in Kyler? And they go, well, we're interested in him, but a bunch of other players and all that stuff. So no one's just absolutely in love with Kyler Murray. No one's absolutely in love with Tua. These are kind of some of the, maybe they're probably the highest grade retread of a quarterback in the NFL at this point. And I don't know if necessarily that's a good or a bad thing, but Kyler Murray is certainly going to be out on the open market. And I know that's what he's excited about. That's what he wanted. And he's a big question too, just like Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones reestablished himself, and had he not got injured, we're not having these conversations. Kyler Murray is just kind of like, where is he? Because it's one of those things where you go, there seems to be smoke there somewhere, and we don't know what the fire is, but it certainly seems to be that way. And I hate to say this, I really do, because I'm a big proponent of all of the players getting the very best that they possibly can get. But some players kind of are their own worst enemies. And it feels like maybe Kyler might be this at times. There's speculation. And again, it's all speculation. But it's like, why did they have to put clauses in his contract? That's the type of thing you go, and we don't know, but they felt like they needed to for some reason. They're around this guy every day. They see how he works and how he plans and how he prepares. Who knows? I don't know. But it certainly would kind of have my radar go off a little bit. The production certainly has fallen off. I'm not a big fan of dual threat quarterbacks, so if I'm a GM, I'm not going to get in love with these guys that run around a lot, because they ultimately get hit. And I just firmly believe that I don't want my quarterback taking shots and taking unnecessary shots all the time. So I'm just like, I don't necessarily want to see that. But this is what Kyler Murray had to say about his exit from Arizona. He said, "To everyone that supported me and showed kindness to my family and I during my time in Arizona, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I am sorry I failed you. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best. I am no stranger to adversity. I am prepared for whatever's next. I trust in God and my work ethic. I truly believe my best ball is in front of me, and I look forward to proving it. Godspeed." Now, where does he go? Right? And because there's going to be some interest. Someone is gonna like him, right? And I think that the most compelling thing about free agency this year, and certainly the quarterback market, and because it's always an interesting conversation, is the Minnesota Vikings. They, to me, feel like they're the ones that hold the cards, and the reason is they're kind of in a compelling position because word out of Minnesota is that they're not in love with JJ McCarthy. They're not there at this point. There was a point when they go, yeah, and now there's not a point. And and if Kevin O'Connell feels like that, then you kind of have to go, yeah. If he's feeling it, we certainly want need to respect that because he's proven that he can take hisn and beating urine and urine and beating hisn. He has that ability to get the most out of whoever he gets on his team. And so if they're feeling that, then yeah, JJ McCarthy is out. Now, a guy like Kyler Murray could be that guy because Kevin O'Connell did mention a word, and he said we need to create a competitive environment, and that is like the kiss of death in my estimation. In other words, we're going to bring someone in here who can legitimately play for us, and Kevin O'Connell goes, you know what? I believe Kyler Murray's best ball is in front of him. I believe I can get the best out of Kyler Murray. And maybe, maybe this mobility in a quarterback is a little bit of an answer to maybe not a great offensive line. Now, quarterbacks go, I hate it. I got to run around, but some of them can't. And Kyler Murray certainly can. I don't know that Tua's a guy that can necessarily run around, but Minnesota holds the cards with all these quarterbacks, because I believe if you're any quarterback, quite frankly, if I was a free agent quarterback, that's where I would want to go, is to that guy. And yeah, there might be a couple of other places around, but man, that's the one, especially with a quarterback kind of in on the ropes. And part of that is because you'll appear to be much better than you are. Your experience will shine through. It'll be a huge difference in the evaluation. So you really have a lot of things to your advantage when you go and you're competing against a young guy who still doesn't have the knowledge that you have, the savvy, the game experience, the leadership. And Kyler Murray is going to learn a tremendous amount from his time in Arizona and the things that he did well and the things he didn't do well, because I think he addressed them in kind of his comment, hey, I wanted to be the guy. And I can relate to that, man. That's all I thought about in my time in Detroit was, man, I'm going to bring a Super Bowl to the Lions. And I thought of nothing else. And so when it doesn't happen, it's certainly disappointing. So if he ends up in Minnesota, that could be a really good thing for him. And certainly is very interesting. Okay, final thing here. Brees Hall was franchised by the Jets. He's been a very productive, he's a massive talent, and if he would have been a free agent, so they figure you got to take somebody, and so you just and I think what they're saying is they believe Brees Hall is going to be part of a long-term answer for them, but not quite at this moment. And it's so tough, with running backs. Brees has been injured before, and you have a defensive-minded coach, and he says, you know what? This is the direction I want to move. I want to move in. We play great defense. We have the ability to run the football, and we need a guy that can do that for us. And so maybe that shows their move. All right, take a break. We come back by special request. when the Down and Dirty returns, we're going to do another Sucks to Be You. So as we look out in the world, we want to feel better about ourselves. So we're going to find all the people that are suffering so that we can feel better about ourselves. I say that tongue in cheek. Don't get bent out of shape. But Sucks to Be You is coming up next here on the Down and Dirty.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. The luxury and confidence of premium clad stainless steel meets Scratch Defense Extreme Non-Stick that won't scratch, ever. With an ultra-thick aluminum core for high-performance heating. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance of clad stainless steel. Scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Are you looking for top-shelf sports talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers, where you can get objective analysis, but with the passion of a fan? Well, look no further than right here at Couz's Corner. I am Justin Couz Walker, the host of Couz's Corner, and you can find my show on demand over at YouTube. Most shows are uploaded by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check out my live post-game reaction shows. My special guest interviews, you can find it all on YouTube at Couz's Corner. Go check it out.
All right. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell. So glad you could join us. Have a fun show today. Very interesting. Of course, we've solved the problems that exist in college football. We have the answers. We've got some compelling information about the NFL today. And of course, Martin asked, could we do another Sucks to Be You today? And I said, absolutely, we can do that. I understand that Martin wanted to let us know that it sucks to be Martin Kelly. And I thought that was very brave and bold of him. So, Martin, please tell us why it sucks to be you.
Just because it sucks to be me because my body's a little sore, just because I've been going to the gym of late for the last 2.5 weeks. So, I've been pumping some iron, been running on the treadmill, been going on the elliptical. Haven't been to a public gym in probably 10 years, honestly, since I left high school or something like that. So, yeah, it sucks to be me just because I have to give up a lot of good food to lose some weight here. But in the long run, it'll be good for me.
Well, it's an interesting thing about learning to love the things we hate. We actually had that conversation on the show yesterday. So, yes, it does suck to be you right now. I know the pain. I know the feeling. And the most challenging thing we have in our life is to get up every morning and go to the gym. And so I take my hat off to you, and I admire you and your courage and your determination to do this, and just stick with it. And if you fall off, get back on. And that's all I'm going to say. So yes, in the short term, it sucks to be you, but in the long run, it's like, man, it's going to be good to be Martin. I like it. All right. Okay. AJ DeBansta, this was kind of an interest, and it doesn't suck to be him per se, because I think he's in a very good position, but he's kind of thrown a few things out there that he just might want to stay in college, because he's ranked as one of the top players in this year's draft. He's a 1-year player at BYU. And but his mom said, I want you to get your education. and it looks like AJ listens to his mother, which is good. But you have to. It's a tough position to be in. Maybe that's why it kind of sucks to be him, because on one hand it's like, do I stay in college, and on the other hand, do I go to the pros? And the question always remains, and I think it's a fair question from his mother. What is absolutely the very, very best thing for you? And I don't even know if it's about graduating, because AJ can certainly graduate from college after, with all the online courses and everything they have. That's certainly something to do, but it's a maturity level. At 18 years old, are you mature enough to go on and play in the NBA? Or are you just kind of taking a short-term success, which is ultimately your failure? It's kind of like what you're doing, Martin, where the short-term excitement is all the really good food, right? And it tastes amazing, but in the long run, man, just kills you. And yet,
Right.
the long play here is, AJ's mom would tell you, Martin, you get in that gym and you don't leave, and you stay there until you look sexy. And so that's kind of the dilemma, because I mean, I look at my life, like my freshman year of college. If I left and played in the NFL, it's like I wouldn't have lasted 4 seconds. And I think it's hard for a lot of kids. Now, a lot of these players are playing in these AAU, and so they've been exposed to a lot of the best talent around the country, and they've been playing in a lot of stuff. So there certainly is, because you look at Cooper Flagg, and he's really transitioned nicely, and some of these other young players that are doing well in the NBA. So an interesting dynamic for sure. Okay, sucks to be BYU basketball. Speaking of AJ DeBonsta, and people are like, "Oh, you're just a Utah guy. You're just piling on BYU." But it's like, hey, and it's not so much. Well, look, they spent a lot of money on their basketball team. Like they've kind of gone all in on this in a big way, and it's like, they're kind of middle of the road. I think they're 8-9 in conference play in the Big 12, and kind of fading fast. They've been on this losing skid, and they just don't look like a very good team, where they looked great in the beginning. Clearly had some injuries that have been detrimental, but it's the supporting cast is not that great. The depth that you kind of need to have from time to time when attrition happens, or you just kind of go through a season and you get kind of worn out to some degree. And if you don't have those players to keep everyone fresh, it's a challenging thing. So I think in the era of NIL, and you could say Kentucky, with Mark Pope, and kind of the expectation is there, and that's part of the challenge with BYU. There's a huge expectation, and they're not getting the results. And so right now, it really kind of sucks to be BYU basketball, and we'll see where that goes in the future. Now, if you're saying I'm piling on, I'll tell you what sucks even worse is my Utes are 2-15 in conference. They're very firmly entrenched in the very, very bottom of the Big 12. You might even say they're the Big 13. I don't even know if they're in the conference right now in basketball. And I and I love Alex Jensen. I love my Utes, and I pray that they'll figure it out, and I hope they will. And so much of it is just you got to make the investment in it, and it seems like the athletic department is committed to that. It might take some time, but right now, yeah, basketball for the Utah schools in the Big 12, it sucks to be you. All right, Chauncey Billups gambling case. See, it sucks to be Chauncey Billups right now. Of course, the prosecutors have actually they've claimed, because there's like 32 defendants in this whole situation. They've given all the their findings, their evidence to the defense, and they say, yeah, we're probably going to offer some plea deals to a certain number of these defendants. They haven't said whether Chauncey Billups is one of those, but it just really sucks to be in that position, no matter what. Yeah, you get yourself in that position by your choices and your actions, but it's real, and it's happening, and that has come out that they're moving forward They've had different hearings about this case, and it's moving forward, and it just sucks to be in that position. Okay, I'll tell you who it doesn't suck to be, and that's Herman Moore, the legendary wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, is going to join us here in a few minutes, and we're going to hang with Herman when the Down and Dirty returns.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us in our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@Zach Gelb Show.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell here. Thank you for joining us. As always, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I love doing this. I love sharing my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my passion, and I hope you appreciate what we bring to the table. If you like it, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Of course, joining us right now on the show is none other than legendary wide receiver from the Detroit Lions, NFL long-timer Herman Moore. He's a guy who was always open, and that was what was great for me because I could throw the ball anywhere except below Herman's waistline. He couldn't catch a ball. That was his Achilles heel. But if you got it above his shoulders, above his head, actually, if you made him jump for it, he liked it better. So he joins the program right now. Herman, it's Wednesday. We're hanging with Herman. How are you today, and how is Detroit, Michigan?
Well, Detroit's always cold. But I'm doing well, man, and it's always great to come out and hang out with QB1. That's what I'm telling you, man. I got to get you your thing. I was watching the combines, and I was thinking, I got to get my WR1, get you a QB1. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. In fact, it should be required, like it's our uniform, and we'll have like uniform inspections before the show. Like, it's got to look a certain way, and you got to be tucked in. You got to, I don't know, clean shaven, or well, for you, just polish the top of your whatever. We'll get it right.
You're struggling with it, Scott. You're struggling, man. Just go ahead, man.
I'm really not struggling. It's not a struggling thing. I just don't want to offend you too early in the show. But
no, you can't offend me.
Yeah. Speaking of the combine, so you mentioned you watch it. Like, what about the combine do you enjoy watching? What do you look for? What kind of moves your needle? What's exciting about the combine? By the way, we should go to the combine.
That would be interesting to do that. It's really just to look at just what they're testing and really the purpose and why they're testing certain players to do certain things, because we already know that there's something that you can simulate, and then there's actually transferring that over into the football field and actually being able to make that work in a live environment. And that's where I see the struggle happens quite often, you know, you can go in and look at some players and you go, wow, they're great. Even if you look at them at the collegiate level, and then I'm looking at some of the things that they're doing and I go, man, how often do I really use that particular thing that they're testing on right now when I'm actually playing? And there's always seems to be a disconnect with probably 50% or more of some of the stuff that they're doing than what you have to innovate around when you actually play the game.
I know the Los Angeles Rams, they kind of went away from a lot of the information they were gathering from the combine. Yeah, it showed some physical prowess and whatever, but you know what really translated onto the field, and it was and specifically like with some of the wide receivers. You look at Puka Nacua and Cup, and these guys had really good careers, but they weren't necessarily highly rated guys, and they realized that it was more about how quick can a guy get off of the line and get from point A to point B, and in a football move, not necessarily just a straight line static. Hey, how fast can this guy run or jump or can do a shuttle? And they found that they got better information, better data, better evaluation on players when they were able to do that. Speaking of the NFL, and not necessarily the combine, but there's always discussion about rule changes. Baseball is going to a more automated pitch evaluation, and that there can be some challenges to balls and strikes and what have you, and it's all done through a computerized strike zone. How far do you think the NFL should go on stuff like this, as far as rules and interpretation of rules? Should they use technology with officiating, or are we just subjected to kind of the interpretation of an official's view of a foul or not a foul?
I think we're just going to be we just have to deal with it, really. I mean, it's I think you can't really remove the human element. I think the game will slow down quite a bit, but I do believe that putting in other rules that will allow for changes in terms of being able to challenge, and then at the most critical moments, or limiting some of that, will give the opportunity for it to be a little bit tighter. The thing you don't want to see is just games be lost because there was an apparent there was a foul, there was a pass interference,
right.
There was an actual true occurrence that could have changed the outcome of a game tremendously, that you can't challenge, and you don't have an opportunity to review and get it right. I think just making those simple, subtle changes like that would be that. I think if you make it too widespread, too quick, too fast, I think you're going to break something else, because that's typically what will happen when you look to make those moves. So that's the only thing I would look at and say would be a little bit different.
It's so hard. I always felt like the league tried to get it right with officiating. I really do. I don't think that, it's you just kind of scratch your head. I used to always like certain groups of officiate, because they work in a as a team, and it's like, oh man, we got this crew this week. It's like we're gonna have 10 holding penalties in the game, So I felt like some of them were more inclined to call certain types of penalties or look for certain types of things. But overall, I always felt like, they tried to get it right. I think the officials, I always had a good rapport with officials. They always, for the most part, there were a few times not so much, but anyways, that kind of, I don't know. Did you have a different?
I was gonna say, man, I got pictures of you having some real situations with officials, man. I actually got you I got you on a poster, and I'm actually gonna send that. Next time we're on, I may even put that as my backdrop, where I had to just really yank you by your jersey like this, and then you're looking the opposite way, all mad at the official, pointing like that. You may have that picture.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, everybody. This is live television. I hope I can get this.
That's it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Herman.
That's it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's it, brother.
And actually, you go over here. That's Jerry Markbright, right? He's a very famous official. By the way, I was not complaining about the officiating. That was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I had just scored a touchdown, and the guy pushed me over. and so I was kind of, I'm like, man, don't be pushing me over. And it was like Warren Sapp, one of those like little, chirpy guys from the Buccaneers. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. In fact, I have that. What's that?
That was a home game.
It was a home game. Yeah.
Yep.
It was.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to kind of go all over the place today. I'm going to pepper you with personal questions, professional questions,
Don't pepper me, man.
unprofessional questions. I'm going to just hit you from all sides today. I'm going to see how good you actually are. So what's your favorite type of food? Like if you go, man, my favorite place to go eat is what? I don't know this
place to go eat.
Yeah, like what do you like? Mexican food? You like Chinese food? You like a steak? You like Italian food? Like, what's your favorite type of food? Is it like breakfast cereal? What do you like breakfast cereal?
Yeah, I do breakfast cereal, or as I used to say when I was growing up, cereals.
Okay. What
so
cereal?
I typically go to a place that has a mixture of cuisines, but they do real well. So there's like steak, there's seafood. Typically, there may or may not be pasta. Sometimes that's a little bit more depending on the restaurant because there's a flow system with restaurants in terms of operation. And I never can go wrong with pizza. And anyone asks me if I had to go just like one food that I could just eat probably more than others, is probably pizza. I love steak though.
Yeah. Pizza is pretty good in Michigan, right? I mean, there's some pretty, I know, like when I was there was a little market and they would make pizza some of the best pizza I ever had in my life. But I'm a fan of pizza, but am I right in this? In Michigan has really good pizza, or am I dreaming?
Michigan has a style of pizza.
Yeah.
So you got to go different places, and there's different styles. There's the brick oven pizzas. There's, or the stone oven pizzas. Then you have the thin crust. Then you have the hand toss. Then Michigan's more probably deep dish.
So
I would say more deep dish for Michigan.
Yeah. You use the word cuisine, which like that's almost too fancy of a word for this show. I was like, wow, he said cuisine.
Grub.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like so. And you mentioned seafood. So do you like a lot of seafood? Like some people go, well, I like certain, like I don't like salmon, or I like the white fish, or do you like scallops? Do you like lobster? Do you like kind of the shellfish, crab kind of thing? Or do you just like it all?
Yeah, I mean, salmon and I like salmon. I like perch. I like walleye.
Okay.
Probably in terms of the fish, but what's really good is a red snapper, especially if it's blackened. Yeah. So I'll do a blackened red snapper, nice little field green salad, and something like that would be good. Maybe a soup to get started. If I go from there, if not, and I go get real like we're doing on the show, down and dirty, then I go more into the bottom dweller. So I'll start messing with like your lobsters, your crabs, and the crab legs. Love Alaskan king crab, right? So they're expensive as hell, but I like those.
They are.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch like that the Deadliest Catch? Have you ever seen that?
Oh
show?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. It's amazing they make the money they make, but
would you ever do that? Would you ever get on one of those boats and go work and pull crab pots?
Not unless I could do it from a safe place, because when it starts moving, man, it's unpredictable. And you start looking at some of the things that people do for a living, and you realize how dangerous some of it is. It's crazy. But then now I know why some of the stuff we get costs what it costs, because of what it takes to actually go and, acquire that thing, that we're going to eat or we're going to have, or that commodity.
You may or may not know this, but lobster.
Is commodity okay for me to use commodity on the show? Can I use
you use big. You went to Virginia. You use big words.
I could just say stuff and things, and
I like stuff and things.
All right, stuff and things. We'll do that.
Yeah, stuff and things. The lobster, by the way, in New England, which is kind of where it's massively popular and plentiful. There's a big word, plentiful. They considered it trash, and it was a food that they actually served in prisons in the New England coastline, because so the inmates were getting lobster, and then all of a sudden they realized, hey, wait a minute, this is pretty good. So that ended after a period of time, and they realized lobster was actually a delicacy, and it was for the decadent lifestyle.
Oh, so instead of sitting there, so I can go in there and be like, hey man, let me get a couple of those crab cakes, and can I get a lobster bisque? And while you're at it, I would like to get some drawn butter on that as well, and get a little bit of that. So that's what they were doing in prison.
Yeah, and they had
that's why people went to prison. That's why there was so much crime. Hey man, you know
Totally.
what, dude, we got to go out here and we got to do a heist.
They had fine white linen, china. They served it up nice. I mean,
Come on, man.
prison was a place to be.
Scott, do you have a life? Like, what do you do, man? Like, you come up with these fun facts, and you come up with these things. Like, you ever watch the show like History of, what is it, like Mystery of the Museum, or Hidden Secrets, or Ancient Aliens, or all these other things? Like, that's got to be your next show, man. Because I'm sitting here listening and going, every time we get on, there's a history lesson that you give, and I'm gonna fact check you too. I just got to make sure I'm not just
fact
like,
check me. What do you think? I just make this stuff up? Look.
I don't think you make it up, but I'm just saying. I just want to make sure.
I'm here for your entertainment. I'm here to give you insight and educate you. And I will tell you where I've learned all of this stuff. Right? It started a long time ago, and I don't want to get into your bathroom habits, but I've been known when I've had to go to the bathroom. I've been in there for a little bit of time. It's where I do some of my finest work. I had this book, and it's called The Big Black Book of Everything. What's
it called again, Scott?
The Big Black Book of Everything. Okay. And so I'm just telling you, it's a fascinating reading. So when when you have some time and you take a break from your life and you have to go to the bathroom, you sit down, you get the Big Black Book of Everything out, and you start reading. You find out about lobster, and you find out about all these amazing things, and it's really compelling.
You got way too much time on your hand. You got to get you some Metamucil, man. You got to get some fiber or something, man. So you don't have to be in there that long. It shouldn't be in there that long, dog.
I got a college education by going to the bathroom. I'll tell you, I learned a lot in that time. All right. Speaking again of your the combine, of course, it's the beginning of so many of these young players' careers. And you have, and so there's all this excitement and anticipation about what's it like in the NFL and all this stuff. So if you're giving advice to a young player, some young player coming into the NFL, what are you saying to them? What are you telling them? How do you give them the advice to succeed in the NFL?
I don't think there's a blanketed way in which you would say it. I will say this, depending on where they're drafted. There's going to be different levels of expectations. There's going to be different levels of urgency in terms of preparedness and getting that player ready to go. I think there's not, I won't say necessarily less pressure because you're later in the draft, or you're not one of those guys that's expected to start, because we already know you can come in, you could do well, and all of a sudden now the team depends on you because you've shown something that even maybe a starter or someone else they had picked was supposed to do, but you've elevated and you've done better. So it's just coming in and understanding that this is a game that requires mental toughness. You have to come in and you have to have confidence. Like, a lot of people will I told you before, that will confuse my confidence with cockiness. And it's not that. This is a world, when you enter, especially in the NFL, it's unforgiving. Like, you can go in and you can just be passive and just say, I just want to be on a team, and you won't last long. You can blend as long as you want, but at some point you got to step up and you got to face the music. There's a time, I would say, with these guys, mentally being prepared, emotionally being able to handle the ups and downs that come with it, and then from a competition standpoint, get ready to go into a world where it's not always fair. And if you come in thinking that because you're better than someone else, or because you practice better, you play better, it's a very subjective world still. And when you enter it, in that, coaches and position coaches and organizations, they get the final say, not your talents, not you. And a lot of people may find that surprising, but it's not. We've been in that world. The best don't always play.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Did you ever find like after the draft, new guys came onto the team, you assigned new team, and you're around these guys, and could you go, man, that guy's gonna make it, or that guy should make it, or that guy has like that guy's never gonna make it? I just know for myself, every year I go, yeah, that guy's not gonna make it. And did you do that as well, or did you?
Oh yeah, of course. There are always what we call roster spots you got to fill, right? It's hard to find
camp bodies.
Yeah, camp bodies. You got guys that are brought in specifically for camp. They know that, and they know they're there to just basically give a look to the starters. And then as we start to move the rosters down, you start to eliminate players as you go through the preseason. They know that they're going to be eliminated unless they show some things. And typically, when you're coming into those training camps or those off seasons, you win the opportunity in the one-on-ones, the position drills, the skill things and stuff like that, because you're not going to get it necessarily in the reps, because that's going to be reserved to those that are already, determined to be the starters that are going to take the meaningful reps. So you really have to showcase. And I would encourage a lot of the players to go up against, the top guys. Like I would always pull out a rookie or a guy that I thought was really good, or someone I thought that, this person has the potential, and they didn't know it. But I would say, hey, I want you to go against me today in practice. And that would give me also an assessment, and you build advocacy that way. You get guys like me or the starters are going in going, hey, that guy can actually play. I think he's a good guy for us. You build that confidence around him. So a lot of that would happen. I don't know if other players would do that, but that was my mindset. It wasn't always to go against the starters all the time as much as some of the others that I knew needed that time in the event our starters go down.
Kurt Warner, there's kind of a famous part of his story where he was a free agent picked up by the Green Bay Packers, and they asked him to go in and do a rep, right? And he was like the fourth and he was so intimidated and so unsure of himself, he wouldn't even go in practice in a rep. And I think early on in my career with the Miami Dolphins, and they were very adamant about these are the only receivers that go with Dan Marino, right? And so there was a pecking order. So you weren't even allowed to throw the ball to certain people. But on occasion, I was like, man, I was so nervous I was going to screw it up. Did you ever see wide receivers that are like, man, I don't want to go with him. He's the first string quarterback. It's too much for me. It's too nervous. Did you ever experience that with guys, or they were?
No, I had quarterbacks that were like Scott. They were like, "Man, get that guy out of there." I need to go. I need to throw to the guys that are going to be in the game, because occasionally I would, tell a guy that didn't get a lot of reps, but I knew that they were behind me and say, "Hey, this is one you might want to rep," because I've had 2 or 3 of those. And I go, this is one that's a little tricky. It's one that's got a different type of a read. It has some different layers to it, and then the quarterback be like, "No, man, get him out of here." You get back in there. We need, or the coach would go, get him out. I want to bring this other guy back in to do it. So again, I'm one of those guys, man, that I knew what my rookie year was like. It was tough, and I needed people to kind of be there for me. And yet I was there to take so many, someone's position. So they already had their bond. So I was on the outside looking in. But then I vowed to never let those guys go through. If they needed, my support or my help, whether I was in front of them or they were behind me, I was going to be that consummate professional and that teammate.
See, I was so dumb and naive as a rookie to that, realizing that I'm here to take someone's spot. And so with the Dolphins, you had 2 quarterback spots. You had one was Marino, and then there were 3 of us fighting for one spot. And it was, and the other 2 guys did not want me there, did not like me there, made it as kind of difficult as they possibly could. And I was, I grew up from, everyone, we're like all teammates and buddies here, and, and quarterbacks, we stick together. And all of a sudden they were like, no, we don't like you. And, they made it tough my rookie year. So, and there was one guy though, for me, that I missed on. I go, this guy is not going to make it in the NFL. And because I always kind of looked around and go, yeah, this guy's kid, and you're kind of evaluating talent. And you'll be shocked when I tell you who it was. It was Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco. And,
really?
and yeah, his rookie year was my last year in Cincinnati. and we started training. He was, you talk about a lost rookie. He was, and he showed talent. I mean, he had some talent clearly, but I was like, this guy's not. He doesn't have the discipline. He doesn't have the work ethic. He is not going to last. The first game we played, we were playing the Buffalo Bills in a first preseason game. Call the play, break the huddle. I'm walking to the line of scrimmage. She comes up in my ear and goes, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Where do I go? He was like, and he was lost. And I just go, man, this guy is not going to make it. And someone got to him along the way. And cause he really blossomed into an exceptional wide receiver. But, and I saw the talent. I just didn't think that he had the work ethic, the mindset, the willingness to learn the offense and figure out what he was doing. So he was the one guy that actually surprised me, and good for him. It's, yeah, he kind of got me.
I came across a lot of guys. I was like, I wasn't necessarily, I went through the roster like you did and just basically eliminating guys on site. Just no good. That guy's not going to make it. That guy, no, I wasn't doing that. But I did see some guys that came in and you could see in their eyes, like, because that's when we had mainly like a lot of the kick returners.
Yeah.
That were playing receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't want to, I was like, yeah, that guy's not going to make it. Because he has to make it through special teams, and he doesn't want to be a kick returner.
Did you ever do special teams? Were you ever on?
I did.
What did you do?
Not in the professional ranks. In college, because I was redshirted my first year, because I didn't play much. I was special teams. I was a gunner as well.
Oh, really?
On the yeah, go down. Oh yeah.
You know how hard it is to tackle people. Like it is not an easy thing to do. Like if
you're a quarterback.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge if you're a quarterback.
Shula used to make us practice tackling. That's what every day we like.
Tackling what?
You did form tackling in your position groups. The first thing in practice, and so Marino would tackle me, and he'd on purpose hit me really hard and score. So we didn't go to the ground, just form tackling all this stuff. And it was kind of Shula's way of saying, we focus and we're committed to the fundamentals. And he goes, I don't care what position you play, you got to learn how to tackle, because you might throw an interception, you might this, you might that, whatever. And so Marino would tackle me or just hit me really hard on purpose. And then he goes, man, you're not touching me. And so like when it was my turn to form, like he's like, no, you're not even touching me. So
do you have any tackles?
I have a couple of situations that are pretty funny. I threw it in, so I'm going to say no. I have a block though. Boy, do I have a block where like I like to go block, like you run reverse, and
you probably you were cutting. You did more cutting than blocking.
No.
I don't know about that, Scott. I need footage, man. I need footage.
Okay, I'll tell you a game to go look at. Go look at.
I'm not going to do all the work. No, man. You go find the play, and then you bring it to me and show it to me. I'm not doing all the work. I'm not that invested.
Cincinnati and Arch Hawkins, they're DB for the Cincinnati Bengals. And when we became teammates, he like, it was the first thing he said to me. So I blocked him, and I blocked him all the way out of bounds. Like I locked onto him and I just drove him right out of bounds. And he was a little dude, right? And so I'm not going to go pick on some defensive lineman or some linebacker or something like that. So I got all cocky, like, hey, I can go block DBs, let's run reverse, I'll go block people. And I hit a guy with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he didn't move, and he was just like a rock. And I swear I got a concussion just trying to block this guy. And I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So
hey, there are a couple of times popcorn and my favorite drink to watch that.
Oh, I'll get the footage.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna make fun of it.
Now there was a time, and this is why I say it's hard to tackle people. So we're playing the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, and I throw a pass, and it got intercepted. And it was it Darren Sharper? Was he played for the Packers, right? So he picks off the pass, and so I got to go chase him down. And so I'm in the open field, right? And of course I'm not happy about this. And I'm going to lay into him. Like I'm going to really hurt him, because because I wasn't a small guy. Like, I wasn't, wasn't afraid to get physical or anything like that. And so he's running down a sideline and I got the angle on him. I'm coming over, the only place for him to go is out of bounds. And there's going to be this massive collision. And he just kind of stops and hesitates, and I'm flying. And I just totally missed him. I mean, I whiffed on him and he cuts back to the right and I'm just kind of flailing, trying to reach out my hand and just get any piece of him. And I thought I had him dead to rights, and I'm like, shoot, man. Hey,
that momentum, huh? Just carried you on out.
No, it got me. Yeah. It was not a good thing. So
Are you an athlete, Scott, or do you just participate in football?
Yeah. I consider myself a finely tuned athlete. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that sounded athletic.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's the same thing when you throw an interception and the defensive linemen try to go. They all try to come kill the quarterback, and this. And so, which was the other situation I had, and the other interception I threw in my life, where now you have to go make a play on it, and it was against the Buffalo Bills, and I was playing for the Dolphins, and I'm center field because I'm the last defense, and I know all the defensive players are trying to just come after me and kill me. And so I'm watching this play, and the DB's running, way far away, and he's going to our right. And I'm like, okay, they're going to tackle him. And all of a sudden he cuts across the grain and he's running now to our left. And I'm like, shoot, I got to go get this guy. So I just turn, I take 2 steps, and the next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground and Bruce Smith is standing over me. And Bruce Smith was just waiting for me. And he hit me so hard, Herman, that my face mask bent out, and they had to fix my face mask on the sideline. And Bruce Smith, who I have the utmost respect, like if you talk about, if I'm picking a team, man, Bruce Smith is going to be on my team. I think he's one of the best defensive players ever to play in the NFL. And he was the nicest guy in the world, though. Like, he wasn't a jerk. He wasn't. And he just so he just knocked me, completely off the ground. And then he just reaches down and helps me up off the ground and doesn't even say anything, just picks me up, kind of goes on, whatever. And so, yeah, those were kind of my experiences with trying to tackle people. And
that's Southern hospitality, man. He's from Virginia.
Totally is. Yeah, he's
from Virginia. So it's so that's why, man. We just show you love after we destroy you. I did the same thing with defensive backs.
Yeah.
Very simple. Up. Oh, yeah, well, I didn't help them up. I just made sure they were in the proximity when I spiked the ball. Yeah. I just want them to be a part of the celebration, that's all. I don't want them to feel left out.
Do you think it's appropriate to spike the football?
Absolutely.
See, I loved it. Like, I loved the emotion.
I'm surprised I didn't get flags thrown on, because I don't care who was around.
You did it with intention, right?
Intention, yeah.
It was making a statement. See, I think one of the most exciting things in life is scoring a touchdown in the NFL. I really do. It's awesome. And I know when I scored, and and by the way, I had 16 rushing touchdowns in my career. You may not 16? Know that. 16. Yeah. I know, it's kind of surprising, isn't it? People don't think that, but in fact, I remember one, Herman, that was my favorite touchdown I scored, and it was against the Atlanta Falcons, and I rushed, down there scrambling, and I don't know, I was probably 8-yard line, 12-yard line, somewhere there. We weren't like right at the goal line, and I go in to score, and all these DBs are coming towards me, and you know how quarterbacks slide. So I slid into the end zone, and technically I probably didn't score, because you know how they kind of marked where you start to slide, and of course, because you're giving yourself up essentially. But yeah, that was my favorite one. I slid in for a touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons.
What's your longest run?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you guess. How long do you think is my longest run in the NFL?
Well, the thing is, now I'm stopped, man.
You're gonna guess, and you're gonna be wrong. I'll just tell you right now.
No, I was gonna say, man, when you said that was 8 to 12 yards for the touchdown, I was like, man, it's got to be getting close to your max.
My max, yeah.
All right, so I would say maybe your longest run, I give you 20 yards. I think every quarterback gets at least 20.
At least 20. 39 yards is my longest run.
Where was the defense?
It was again. Now I'll tell you one of the secrets. You learn the secret, right? And one of the secrets that I learned playing quarterback is you get cover 2 with man coverage. So cover 2 man, right? And the only guy that they don't account for is the quarterback. And the safeties are deep. So you got wide receivers running down the field, and those DBs and linebackers, they're because they got man coverage, right? And a lot of teams will do it when they get that coverage with the 2 deep safety, and they get that man, so it makes it harder. You have to hold the ball longer, and they usually do it for quarterbacks that don't like to run or don't run. And so, anytime I saw 2-man coverage, I looked for a seam. I literally dropped back with the intention of rushing. We were playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and I was with the Miami Dolphins, and so they played 2-man, and I ran for 39 yards.
39 yards.
Yeah.
And I was looking up, man.
I didn't do it in Detroit because we didn't get cover 2-man often. Part of that too,
man. I was looking for it, man. I was like, let me just see if what he's saying is true or not.
Why do you not?
I couldn't really find it. So I'm at to look for it. I have to find it on my end.
You find it on your end. You fact check me, and now there's some things. It might have been 38 yards. I'm pretty sure it was 38, 39 yards. I'm within the margin of error. I'll just tell you that much.
What do you think my longest touchdown was?
Your longest touchdown? I'm going to say 72 yards is your longest touchdown.
93.
What?
Yeah.
When did
69 and 70? Those I got those every year. That was easy.
So what was that? What year was that? Was that in college? Was that in in high school?
No, college. I don't think I had any really long ones like that in college. In college I was averaging about 50, 60 yards on my nice times. I always have a bomb a game or something like that,
I just remember the Chicago Bears Monday Night Football.
That was 69 yards.
That was 69 yards?
Yeah.
See, I thought it was like in the 70s. So
yeah. Well, it's 1 yard away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Education system's real good out there, huh?
Are you going to tell me about your 93-yard?
It was against Minnesota. It was basically a broken coverage.
What year was this?
I want to say it was Rodney Peete was the quarterback. So it would have been probably 93, 92, 93.
92, 93. Yeah. I actually think I remember seeing film of that.
Yeah. Those are the worst ones because you're wide open and the concern becomes just don't drop it. Like that was if I feared anything, it was please have someone cover me or have someone running with me, because if they were not, it scared the heck out of me. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like you have no excuse. Like, and granted, the ball you could lose it. Anyone who's played in the Silverdome, they don't realize, you know this. There's blind spots everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And like that, you get up towards the 40 and between the 40 and the 40 is the worst place to run out routes. So we knew not to run the out routes. I would tell them, hey, don't throw any out routes. Let's try not to do certain things in certain areas, because the ball disappears and then it comes back into view. And if it's a shorter pass, it gets up on you too fast. And then the other one I didn't like is whenever we would play inside the dome, the ball would turn black. So it would go up and you'd see it and then it would disappear. And then when it's coming back down, the ball itself turns like black. And it's like you're trying to find it, like what in the heck? And then, but once you get used to it, it becomes an advantage, a home field advantage at the highest level. And so, yeah, man, I don't like those. I don't like those wide open. I got hit in the face a couple times and everything on one. I was against the Chicago Bears, man. The ball hit me right in the face.
Well, the hardest to throw is to a guy that's wide open like that, because you don't normally have that. It just doesn't normally happen. There's usually a defender around, or there's a small space. And for me, it was like you rush your feet, because you're like, man, you just want to get him the ball. And so often, it would be in a poor location or it was a bad situation. But yeah, totally.
You know what? I think I had 2 drops on one play.
Oh,
because the ball hit me, I dropped it. And then the defensive back that was chasing me, it hit him. And then he kind of was fumbling around with it. Then it came back to me, and I dropped it again.
So would you consider yourself a really good athlete then? Or would you say?
No. Excellent, great, superb.
Okay. All right.
It's different. No, I'm not. No, I'm not a good athlete. No,
You're excellent.
I'm an excellent athlete. Yeah.
How hard? Speaking of catching footballs, and for some reason I thought of this morning, but how hard would it be for you to catch a football without gloves? Did you always use gloves? Was there a point
No,
you didn't? But
I started out not wearing gloves, but the reason why, because I used to tear up my hands, and it used to get calluses on at the base of my hand here would become, a lot of calluses, and they would get really bad to where you have to, put medication on it and tape them up and stuff like that. So that's the only reason I actually started wearing gloves. But you got to think about it. Gloves didn't really give us an advantage earlier back in the early, let's say 80s, when I was in high school to the 90s, because the glove technology hadn't evolved to where it is in, 2000 is going further, right? When they started putting that real tack on it to where guys could make the Odell Beckham catches like routine, because the gloves themselves are now a new technology. And that's why when players drop passes in this day and age, it's like, it's no way. It's like, you should be almost penalized for that.
Yeah. Well, and they're so good, the gloves the quarterbacks use them. I mean, and can throw the ball. I mean, I couldn't imagine, because I just remember, I think of, early on in my career with the Miami Dolphins, and like no one wore gloves. I mean, no wide receiver wore gloves, and they would talk about they'd split the webbing in between their fingers. Actually, some of those guys. And I'll just tell you. Now, quarterbacks, we would catch the ball from each other, and you're doing it every day. So I'm catching as many passes as a wide receiver, and a lot of times you hated it it was the laces when they'd spin and hit into your finger. That's one of the most painful things in the world. Okay, what's the most challenging part of living in Michigan?
The most challenging part?
Yeah.
That's a lot of places you can take that. I mean, one is the potholes are crazy.
Bad.
They've made some with infrastructure and highways. It's gotten a lot better since you were here. So I don't really have any quarrels there. I don't have any problems there. I would just say sometimes it's just I always tell people when you're from the South. I mean, people, even if they say crazy things to you, sometimes people speak to you. It's tough to be in a place where I wave at people and they don't wave back. It's just a natural thing. You see someone, you're passing them by, you wave at them at your neighborhood, or you're going into a place, you see someone on walking or whatever. And then also just when you're in the store and you see someone, you go, "Hi, how are you today?" And they just look at you like you're crazy. But I don't think anyone means anything by it. It's just a mentality, I guess, in certain places. And it's not throughout Michigan. Obviously, there's some places that are very nice. The hospitality is great. But I've just found that it's just a little different than what I grew up in, I'll say. Yeah,
I grew up the same way. In fact, when I moved back east, it was like, to say hi to people, to do all that, it's like, what do you want from me? What are you up to? People are just extreme. And I just grew up where people were nice, just how it was. So I can get that. For me, it's the gray days. Like, where's the sun? I just found that so hard when I lived in Michigan. Michigan's actually quite a beautiful place, and there's a lot of good there. But man, it was a lot of gray days, which were not fun. I didn't enjoy.
I don't mind the weather. The weather is the weather, right? You go different places. Too hot, it's too cold, it's too much rain, it's too much this, that, and the other. It's like, it's seasonal, right? So you adjust to that. You have your winter, you have your summer, you have your spring, whenever you can get it, with a little mixed in snow, and then your fall. And the seasons are here. I'm used to Virginia though, where it's 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So
is it really 4 seasons in Virginia?
Oh yeah, man. The spring is spring. It's warm. It gets up to 70s early.
You're kind of the north end of the South. Yeah. I moved from Miami, Florida to Detroit in February, and I thought I was going to die. I got out to pump my gas the first time, and I just said, "Holy cow, this is cold like I've never felt in my entire life." So Yeah. I'll just tell you right now, Herman, I look out my window right now from my studio, and there's 300 days of sunshine where I live, and it's a beautiful place. So hard to get over. All right, when you signed a big contract, right? And you well, you
It's
relatively
all relative, right? Go
sure,
ahead.
yeah, but it's like, what I was one of the first people to ever take advantage of free agency. I was, and when I signed my first contract with the Detroit Lions, people were just up in arms. How, and the total amount of the contract was like $11.5 million over 3 years. Like it was nothing. I mean, it's just nothing compared to today. But what did you do? What did you celebrate? Did you do anything with, how, what, like, or did you just go, yeah, okay, fine? What kind of emotion, what happened? What did it cause you to feel when you signed a new contract?
First of all, let's dial it back and temper this just a little bit. So, my first contract was my base was $350,000, 10th pick overall, first round pick.
Wow.
Right. So that puts it in perspective, right?
That was 91, 92?
91 through 93. So I did a 3-year deal.
Pre free agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're talking, I think my contract was 800,000 a year. So my base was 350 the first year. But, and then I got the rest that was a signing bonus that they used to give you, camp. And then when the season opens, they would just spread it out over time. You start to go back and look at the contracts, you realize really what the team was doing and how they were spreading it out, and how you weren't really getting that guaranteed money up front or any of that stuff.
Right.
And then like going to the Pro Bowl, it was like, I think $10,000 or $15,000 if I make the Pro Bowl. Right. That's like a signing today. Like that's if I go and just say, hey, I want to do an appearance for an hour or whatever.
Right.
And it's amazing when I look back, and it's just not a lot of money. And it may say that there's these large contracts that you get, but even if it's $28 million, that's one season for a lot of these guys that you would have made your entire career.
Yeah.
And then that's if you kept every penny of it and you didn't do anything with it, which, everyone's got different means and obligations and in ways in which they want to live their lives. So I didn't do a whole lot. I mean, I took care of my mom. I took care of some family, which is typical, traditionally, depending on what kind of status you or situation you come from. And then from there, I bought me a car. I want to have a vehicle, bought me a Toyota 4Runner. And it wasn't anything, over the top.
Right.
It was considered, that was the best vehicle I'd ever had in my entire life.
Right.
And that's kind of it. And I lived in an apartment first 2 or 3 years, and I got a townhouse, I think year 4 or 5.
Wow.
And then before I bought a house in my 5th or 6th year in the league.
Wow.
Or so. So it was, it's totally different. And I've been in business a lot longer than I've been a professional athlete. So, I've done more there than in the sports side of my life. So it's, other than the accolades of course, but
so
nothing over the top.
Yeah. Was the craziest thing that what's the craziest thing you bought? Was it the car, or was it
Cars?
something?
Probably cars. I mean, it was cars, but I didn't really buy them. I was one of those dudes that I know me. And so I bought only one expensive car, and I think that was a Ferrari. It was nice. It was a 360.
Did you fit in it? Like,
oh yeah, I had it adjusted, the seats put back. I took the back thing out. It was kind of not a coupe, but I took the back out and made it so I can get extra, leg room and everything. It fit great. It was probably my favorite vehicle. And at the time, I mean, you think about it, it's a lot of money. It was $100 and some thousand, but compared to now, that's getting a normal pedestrian vehicle for the most part, depending on what bells and whistles you put on it.
Yeah. I mean, Suburban's 85, 95.
Right. So it's, it's all relative to our day and time. And then I had motorcycles, things like that. My Hayabusa was probably my favorite motorcycle that I had. So yeah, man, I did some smaller toys and stuff like that, but nothing really over the top. It was more vacationing. It was more experiencing the different parts of the world and life. And I traveled a lot more than I do now. And I think if I had to look at anything from my playing days and I look at what I do now, it's just a different world that I participate in. I love doing things in business. There's some some risk that I take with that, but I do it, in a calculated way. But sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. I always tell people that, but I'm doing the things I want to do.
When you traveled, where did you go? Where was your favorite place that you traveled?
Probably Turks and Caicos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that because it's quiet. It wasn't a lot of going on. I don't know, more recently, what they've done, but it was private. It was quiet island. The amenities were there. It was a great place to go and just kind of decompress. Aruba was cool. I think with my kids, they enjoy Grand Cayman because we did a lot with snorkeling and going out and going and see the reefs and all that stuff. So
did you ever have turtle soup in Grand Cayman?
No.
It's actually really good.
No, I had snail though.
Yeah. Oh, the turtle soup, and it's a thing. It's not like a name. It's like actual turtle meat, and it's good. It's really good.
Not doing turtle.
Yeah.
The only reason I had the snail because they didn't tell me it was snail.
Did you like the snail?
It was good till they told me.
And then what happened? Did you like?
I never had another. I didn't have another bite. I've never had another one, and I've learned now if I don't recognize it or know what it is, I'm going to ask. So if you're ever thinking about inviting me over to do anything, you're gonna have to let me know where I'm eating. I don't do mystery meat. We don't do that.
All right. I'm just telling you, turtle is I had to get. I went with a guy who lived in the Cayman Islands, and he goes, "Oh, we gotta have," and he took me to this place, and it was amazing.
What makes turtle soup good? Like if you think about it,
it's the tender.
To me, it's just water and broth, and
it's a misnomer. It's mostly meat. It's not soup per se.
It's turtle meat.
Mostly, but it's in kind of I don't know if a broth is the right texture. It's more of a sauce than anything. And the best way to describe it, it's the best pot roast you've ever had in your life. Like it's unbelievable how good it is.
I'll pass. Just give me some bologna, man. That's probably even worse, but at least it's something I grew up on and it didn't kill me.
I got one last question for you. This can be a doozy. It's going to be a tough one, so I hope you're sitting down. Do you believe in miracles?
Do I believe in miracles?
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, I think some miraculous things can happen that are unpredictable. It depends on how you define miracle, right?
Well, how do you define a miracle? And based off,
I don't know if I really gave a lot of. I've always done like most people. You hear certain things growing up. You don't really look at the point of origin. Like, what does it really mean? A miracle to me means it's more apt to happen, and the opposite way than actually occurring. So it's like a miracle to me means you're just not going to see that. That might be once in a lifetime. That may be never ever again. It's something that it seems improbable and impossible that has happened that changes the course of something from one extreme to another, right? So a miracle, I don't think necessarily always has to be bad or good. I think it changes. It's something that seems improbable and impossible, and it's just not something that's going to be repeatable that often, if ever.
Yeah, I believe in miracles. I actually do.
How do you define a miracle?
I've actually experienced miracles in my own life. 1,000%. Like, and actually, one of them happened when I was playing for the Detroit Lions. So yeah.
But here's the thing, though, when you
and so for me, if you want to ask my definition of a miracle, it's something happening that wouldn't normally happen in the normal course of life, or kind of under the certain, maybe I don't know if we want to say laws or of whether it's physics or nature or whatever. But yeah, I've 1,000% experienced that in my life.
So let me ask you this then. So there's synonyms, right, for miracle.
Okay.
And there's going to be derivatives of it and all this other stuff that can be pulled out of it. So like if I say, have you ever had anything impossible something seemingly impossible happened or something that was completely unique that you'll never see again, where does that fall in the miracle space?
Right. Yeah. So like when I coached high school football, I had a player who died, and it was tragic. And he died right after practice. And we had just finished practice, and he got in a car, drove through the parking lot of the high school, and they were in an open air Jeep, and they were screwing around trying to, drift slide, and they rolled a Jeep, and the Jeep landed on top of this player, and he died. And it was horrible, man. All the team was there. I mean, it was just a really bad event. And this family who this guy had a 10-year-old son, and they prayed for years, for a long time, that he needed a liver transplant and he was going to die. And the dad said, "Look, I literally watched my 10-year-old son die 3 different times only to come back to life." And then we finally just were at the end, like we were at the end, we were last hope. And we just, had this huge kind of fasting and praying for a miracle in my son's life. And lo and behold, we got a phone call. Player who had passed away, my football player, was a perfect match. He was an organ donor, donated his liver to this young man, and today this boy lives. So I would call that a miracle, in that, something happened, and maybe it's, just luck of the draw or circumstances, but the dad describes it as a miracle. And so I think there's things like that, and that, define a miracle. So yeah, I think miracles happen.
Okay.
All right. There you have it. I'll have to tell you about my miracle sometime.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I guess I just look at it, I always look and say a miracle is something that, again, just doesn't happen that often. And
right. And
it's not that isn't something, but, there's organ donors, there's people who definitely, do those things, and they write on their license, or they sign over any event, something catastrophic happens to them, that they want to save another life. And there's a tragedy that happens for a miracle to occur. So, yeah.
Does that feel like a miracle? Because it's like,
yeah, or is it unique? Like, I mean, that happens how often? I would then go, okay, so that means there's miracles like that happening every day, right, on a large scale. So is it really a miracle, or is it
maybe miracles happen on a daily
or is it more of just a system that's put in place to help save lives, that allows for that? You know what I mean? Like, so, not again, just to pull away from it, because it, I get it, but it's
so this dad said, we
miracle is dropping Scott out of a plane, no parachute. He hits the ground and he lives, gets up, walks away. I think miracle. Yes. And then Scott goes, "I'm gonna jump out of the plane again and try it again." I'm going, he probably ain't gonna make it this time. I don't know what he had happen that time, but I don't think you want to be trying that too often. Like, when I think miracle, I'm thinking miracle like that. I'm thinking the guy gets thrown out of a Jeep that flips over. He lands and gets impaled by something. It goes through him. The doctors pull it out, and it misses every vital organ possible. And it just need to move like a centimeter, and he's dead or she's dead. Then yeah, I'm thinking miracle. You know what I mean?
So you believe in miracles then?
I believe people are very, very highly, blessed and favored. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think this show has been a miracle, and we've saved lives today. We've changed the course of history. So I think it's,
and we're killing and eating turtles. So yes. I get it.
Well, just
it's thinning out the population, Scott.
It's a healthy way to manage the population of turtles. So there you have. It wasn't illegal to do, just so you know. Man, I get all the turtle hate. I get hated over turtles now. Thank you, Herman, for being a part of the show. It's been fun hanging with you today, as always. Hope you have a great day, and all my best to you. And we'll chat soon.
I appreciate it. You got to figure out something better than my government name too, man. Call me H.
H.
Herm, HM, H-man, WR1 something.
Yeah.
Call me by my government name. What's wrong with you?
Wow.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Monet. Call you Ramone. All right. Anyways,
I
be
appreciate
good.
it.
All right,
Thank
there
you,
you have
brother.
it, folks. This has been the Down and Dirty. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are amazing, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Please like and subscribe. Thanks, Zach. Thank you, Martin, for your help and support. And have a great day, everyone. Until then, we'll see you then.